Hello, my name is Brandon Thompson, and today I'll be talking about mental health. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about anxiety in the black communities and the black families. What is anxiety exactly? Um, Anxiety is one of the most common health conditions in the United States. Anxiety, I guess, can be defined as the fear of the unknown, nervousness about uncertain outcome or events that might happen. In other words, anxiety is actually a normal way of our body dealing with stress, how our body responds with stress. Like I said, it's a normal function, but it becomes a problem once those anxious activities or whatever interfere with your day-to-day functions. So, let's talk about the impact of anxiety on the black communities. Um, it's actually the impact of anxiety on black families is growing at a higher rate than any other group in the United States as of right now. Mental health experts and those who advocate for anxiety and awareness, they bring light to certain mental health conditions such as PTSD, depression, disorder, and other mental health conditions. Now we're going to talk about why is it a shame. In most black families, it's not a norm to, I guess, discuss mental illness. I guess it's not the normal dinner conversation that's brought up in a lot of black households. Some black households look at it as a form of embarrassment or shameful or just not prideful enough to just want to get up and speak on situations such as those. So in this presentation, I'm going to look over a few key points. One of those is, why is it a shame in the black community to not want to admit when one is having mental problems or some type of mental issues, and go a little farther. Once we understand what exactly anxiety is and why we have it, then we can go as far as to take the proper treatment and the proper care to get over those anxious ways. And also, by bringing awareness to the black community about mental health, um, we can help, get to the bottom root of, things like what causes it, what are symptoms, and like I said, what are treatments that, can help those in the long run. Um, Symptoms of anxiety, they can show up in many different ways. A lot of people often ask the question, how can you determine or not determine if a person has anxiety? Um, So I guess first we have to understand, people experience anxiety through different things, on a daily basis, and it's nothing that someone should be completely concerned about because, as stated before, having anxiety, those little traits, whatever, it's all natural, it's all normal, it's all normal. It's like I said, our body's natural way of dealing with stress. Um, like I just said, it's all normal, but it only becomes a problem when those actions or those symptoms get in the way of a daily routine or daily ritual. When you're not able to truly do your day-to-day functions. Um, on the next slide, you'll see a few symptoms of anxiety and they're also classified in a few different categories, such as physical, psychological, and behavioral. The symptoms of anxiety are not limited to those in the chart. Those are just more of the most common. Um, you can have anxiety, and your symptoms can vary in a lot of different ways. Um, the things that can cause that There are a lot of things that can trigger or cause anxiety, but one of the most common, most a few of the most common today are genetics, family history, history of abuse or trauma, and things of that nature. Um, as we're on the subject of trauma and abuse, we can dive into like how a child might, the reason why a child might experience anxiety from a little kid, such as him growing up in not so steady household, abusive family members, maybe grew up in a bad community, bad neighborhood, hearing gunshots or whatnot, that can cause PTSD that one might not be able to, scope out and realize at the time. But as you get older, as life goes on, those are the type of things that can come back and get you and have you have mental problems um, later on in life. um, in the black community, there are also a lot of social factors that can cause anxiety amongst the group, such as, the racism and racial abuse that black people face on a daily basis. The U.S. Census Bureau conducted a survey that indicated that after the death of George Floyd, that African Americans' anxiety levels actually did grow. Um, Treatment for anxiety in the past, but I guess black people, African Americans, have been neglectful to get help for mental health treatment, just because, well, not just because, but one of the factors may include not being able to trust the healthcare providers, and just not feeling safe, just by experience of being treated and healthcare providers in the past. Um, there's a lot of different treatments I guess you can find for anxiety. I guess it's all about you finding the right one that fits you and something that you can trust. And that's something that as a black community we have to start gaining more trust in our healthcare providers. Um, in conclusion, like I said, there are various symptoms of anxiety. There's a lot of different documents and research that have been studied, and a lot of different, things and factors. There's not one cause, there's not one treatment plan, there's not one, you know. It's just something that I feel we just have to keep growing and keep learning as a people, not just as a black community, but as us as human beings. And there's my presentation. Thank you very much.